So hi everyone, today in this video we're gonna develop another mental model that can be useful for you, since mental models, as I've been saying, are one of the most important pieces to you to grasp in terms of what is in our world. Because higher is your likelihood of being a better decision maker, which is ultimately the type of skill that you should more seek for, because the reality is what do you want in your life? In your life, you will say that you want prosperity. And what determines the prosperity that you do and you get is the actions that you take in the context that you have. So kinda are required that actions that you take are obviously so the ones that are most adjusted to the environment that you are. And this requires decision making, requires your interpretation about the context that you are, and understand so of all the hypotheses of action that you can have and you can so be seeking for. But then we have understood what's going to so be the mental model that we're going to talk today. The mental model is going to be called the Samaritan's dilemma. Who help can harm someone. So me, by helping someone, I'm even making worse for him. So it's the mental model that we're going to talk today. So what's the core idea of this economic mental model? The Samaritan's dilemma describes how well-intentioned heads by individuals, governments, NGOs can create dependency, distort markets, and perpetuate soul poverty. This name after the biblical god Samaritan, it reveals so that charity often fails when it ignores incentives and long-term consequences. So it's as all other mental models are patterns that we have seen that are true. But then so how it works? We have a contrast. So we have the short-term relief versus the long-term harm. So when I help someone, what happens? I create short-term relief for her. But reality is that in long term, I'm creating harm. But so what are like examples? A good one. A post-earthquake IT. So the country IT, post-earthquake, saw local agriculture collapse after massive foreign food aid. Free food donations crush local farmers who can't compete with zero prices. See how me, by wanting to help some specific place, people, by so offering something for free. What I do in long term, by doing that actions, one of the economical groups, one of the most important ones that are so the agricultures in Haiti, they would and they couldn't compete with the help that was so reaching at zero price. So instead of us making so the economy work again, I'm kind of create a distortion about so how do things are work. The things have prices. The things have prices that have a match of how much scarcity these resources, and as well how much so the effort was needed to people to put so to create this specific resource. If I'm so providing something free in a specific economy, I create a reference level that people now they just want things for free, and then so they've got this habit and they perceive what was in the past the normal, that is so paying to get so food. Now I kind of see it as an obligation, and I have so dependency to receive money, subsidies, so to make a continuation of getting these things for free, because free effort. Moral hazards. Recipients may avoid self-sufficiency if aid is guaranteed. Another thing. Example. Generous unemployment benefits in some European countries lead to prolonged joblessness. It's kind of goes with the core effect. Me, by wanting to help someone, what I do, I kind of get so and do something that even makes the problem worse. So I'm giving self-sufficient ads to make so people get without they don't have so not employed, and then to sustain their life. What I do, I make them having the incentive to remain not working because they want so to rely in that incentive for all their lives. So I'm working with policies that I don't see the second order consequences. I just see the first one. That's one of the heroes, and it's one of the things that kind of make us different from other animals, hard to predict. So with that said, we have another thing, power imbalance. Donors often prioritize their own goals, example, political influence over local needs. What are examples? The tide aid, requiring countries to buy donor nations' goods. Example, so USA grain exports to Africa. Modern examples. We have the Venezuela's petro diplomacy. So Venezuela sent free oil to Caribbean nations, creating dependency. When oil prices crashed, recipients faced energy crisis. GoFundMe Healthcare, a crowdfunding for medical bills in USA, undermines pressure for systemic reform, letting politicians off the hook. Another thing, the COVID stimulus checks. While critical for survival, prolonged payments in some countries disincentivize returning to work, worsening labor shortage for the ones that are going to work. So I think it's clear why it matters. It creates a cycle of poverty. Aid can trap communities in reliance instead of resilience. Wasted resources, estimated 30% of aid is lost to corruption or mismanagement. Because understand that if for example, if cutting hunger in the world was something that would so everyone's got the pain of feeling it, I will guarantee that already so would be done when you already have create like organization and management in our world to cut away this type of phenomena. But why they don't do it? Because the is not interesting for people that so gets profit with that. It's something good for people that are like a government in a specific poor country, kind of having all these arguments and not developing their country to also getting subsidies from other type of countries. That's why some policies that kind of seem that are not like you, they don't kind of have this type of charity, generosity that people like to praise to help the world. But sometimes it's better to cut, even if it's kind of seems that you're not helping some other countries to develop it. But the reality is that it creates a stimulus, the effort, the skin in the game, that now that people and governments that are nervous through saving that type of money. And obviously, so people have their incentives and they try to corrupt even more in these poor countries that have not so developed and doesn't have like systems like the fiscal system to make a audit about what the government does. So if does it is better than just so providing for people that practice corruption. So what's important? Cycle of poverty to understand. So cycle of poverty, remain stuck in some phases. We not evolve poverty to a more richer type of society. Wasted resources, as I said, coming from corruption and mismanagement. And obviously the other thing, skin in the game, money that comes from other people I not treat the same as money that I have got. And also I never will so spend efficiently as it was money that was taken from my effort. Ethical trade-offs, helping one group often harms another. That's important. Subsidizing US farmers hurts African exporters. Subsidizing some type of employed guys, it takes from so requiring taxes for people that are working and getting money. And so when I'm helping one group, often I'm harming other. And reality is that group that I'm helping, the objective that I want is not never gonna get met, because obviously people they have certain type of incentive to remain so being that type of poor people. So how to avoid this trap? Teach to fish. Fund microloans, education or infrastructure. We have examples, the India style of economy, reducing the seas. So teach to fish instead of helping, teach sold people. Instead of making just giving food and things for the people, make them learn about it. Create incentives for them doing it and not provide you. So it's like teaching a kid. You don't all do the things, you make him learn. Conditional heads require accountability. We have examples, anti-corruption reforms for EMF loans. Localized solutions, let communities lead. Kenya's M-Pesa mobile banking designed by Africans for Africans and not with interventions of other people. Sunset clauses phased out aid programs automatically unless renewed by evidence of success. Final takeaway: good intentions are enough. True progress requires helping people thrive, not just survive. As economist Peter Bauer warned, aid is a process by which the poor in rich countries subsidize the rich in poor countries. So I expect this video as make you gain more insights. I expect you that it was good enough to make you like and subscribe this video, or in terms of subscribe the channel. So, and if feel free to see other type of videos that may trigger your interest. Without much more to say, thank you and see you in the next one.